As a renter, you know the struggle of living in a boring, basic apartment. So in this video, we're gonna be making some super easy DIY projects to bring some character back into your space. Hi, I'm Allie, and welcome to my channel. My goal with all of these projects is to make them damage-free, removable, and no power tools required. So we're gonna just dive into the first project because this one is here from popular demand. I get a lot of questions asking about how to make shelves renter friendly, specifically wall shelves. So I have my materials right in front of me here. I'm gonna cut these in half so that they're 1 foot long shelves, so we have 2 for this project. So since we're sticking in the spirit of making this power tool free, we're gonna be using the handsaw to cut these pieces. Hand cutting these pieces turned out super well, and I sanded them really nice and smooth so we can move on to the next step, which is now beginning to form the shape of our shelves. Now, when I was approaching these projects and looking for inspiration for today's video, I turned to Craftsy, which is the sponsor of today's video. Well, if you know me, then you know I love a good renter-friendly DIY project, especially accent walls that are removable and renter-friendly. So that's why I loved taking James Worsham's blank wall overhaul class. The series was so much fun because it was like watching an actual TV show, and I also felt like it really boosted my creativity to think outside of the box, especially when it comes to approaching these projects and some future ones that you'll see too. Well, Craftsy is your online resource for all things creative, like sewing, quilting, knitting, cake decorating, crochet, arts, or baking, and that is just to name a few. Don't forget to clean up the glue squeeze out, especially if you do plan on staining this. But anyways, with Craftsy, I love that it's taught by professionals and fun experts in each of these different categories of classes, where you really feel like you could trust what they are telling you, and you can tell that they bring that level of expertise that you need, especially when trying to gain a new skill. One of the classes that I'm really excited to start taking is Sarah Alm's Startup Library on Sewing, because I really do feel like I have basic sewing skills down, but because I don't use them very often, I feel a little bit rusty. So that one is definitely on my must-watch list. So if Craftsy sounds like something that you would also love because you also want to upgrade your creative skills, then the first 1,000 people to click on the link in my description box will get their first year of Craftsy premium membership for only $1.49 for the entire year. That is such a great deal, especially when there are so many wonderful resources and so many classes to pick from on Craftsy. Well, now what we gotta do is then just set this aside for about 20 minutes for that glue to set up, and then we'll move on to a little bit of the beautification that I wanna do to really just add a little extra to this project. You could totally leave these shelves as is, but because they look like something you can buy from the store at this point, I wanted to add a little DIY customization by cutting little pieces of decorative trim and using some wood glue to attach them. Once those were nice and dry, I sanded the shelves, and then I am staining them using Varathane's Fast Dry Wood Stain in the color Dark Walnut. While I love my Minwax Early American, I love that this stain is super fast drying, which allows you to tackle this project in just a couple of hours. Once the stain was dry, I gave the shelves a really good coat of matte polyurethane. Now, to hang these on the wall, you are going to need a drill, and that is because we're going to be using these keyhole hangers. I'm using my drill to clear away a little bit of the wood on the back where those hangers are going to be attached. This is just going to make it a little bit easier when you get to the hanging portion. And now I am ready to tell you how we're going to hang these up. So the reason we put in those little keyhole holders on the back of both of these shelves is because I thought the best way and most damage-free way to hang these little shelves would be with command hooks, specifically the ones that have the little nail head on them. I've used these before. These are a fantastic product for anything that requires like a nail in the wall. Let's go see if these will work and be able to hold some really cute wall decor. this next DIY is something that every single person has in their home, whether you live in an apartment or a house, and that is outlet covers and switch plates. And I love the idea of swapping out plates within your apartment because it's a totally removable way to upgrade the space. So I got one here that is for a switch and another one here that's for an outlet, and I want to come up with two really cute ways just to add a little unexpected character by swapping out a plate but adding your own personalized DIY flair to it. Now, in order to prepare these switch plates, because they are a really shiny plastic, I am coating them with some white primer, and this is just gonna give a really nice surface to start painting on. So I'm using my pencil to sketch out my design, and I'm really inspired by this particular outlet plate that I had seen on Pinterest. I really, really loved the look with those cute little flowers. It kind of gives a bit of a folk art feel, and I think it was just really sweet. And I love that this is so easily customizable to whatever kind of design you want. You can do whatever colors, patterns, floral, stripes, polka dots, anything that you can imagine. But I chose to just go with a really cute kind of orange and green floral print because I just thought that would be really cute. And I don't know, I really have just been loving oranges and greens lately as a color combination. So this one right here is one of my favorite types of outlet covers that are awesome for renters. If you can see, the plate covers the entire outlet so that if you have, let's say, the really ugly, outdated beige style outlets, you slap one of these on and you can't even tell that that's there. And I want to do something inspired by this picture right here. So I have some really cute trim and one of my favorite little tools, which are these miter shears, which are always so useful for cutting down small trim pieces. I'm using some E6000 glue to attach the little wood trim pieces to the outlet plate, and I was previously going to try to tape them in place, but I found that was just way too hard to get these positioned exactly in that perfect frame shape, so I just let gravity do all the work to make sure that these were nice and bonded together. Just like the switch plate, I gave this outlet cover a coat of primer. After the primer dried, I then went over in my favorite metallic gold spray paint to give that really pretty brassy finish. Now this is the fun part right here. I'm mixing a little bit of some black and brown paint together with some water to create a wash like this, and I'm brushing it on all over the light switch plate, and it looks a little bit weird now, but if you trust the process, you'll see at the end here how this turned out so cute. Essentially, you are just layering that paint on, letting it settle into all of the little details of the plate and the trim. I also even went in with a little bit of some dry brushing as well, just because I was going for that tarnished antique brass look. It's my hat now. No, don't put that in. So what I have right here is a giant basket. I picked this one up from IKEA. It was about 30 bucks, which is like the going price for a basket of this size. And what we're gonna do is turn it into a cover for those very ugly ceiling lights, you know, the ones I'm talking about, that come in pretty much every rental. And what we're gonna need to do is flip this over to create a lampshade, and we're gonna have to then cut out all of the excess in order to make it into a little light cover. So I picked up, because I'm very protective of my craft scissors, a pair of heavy duty scissors, and don't you love it, but whenever you buy scissors, you need scissors to get them out of the packaging, which never makes any sense. What if you bought scissors because you didn't have scissors? How do you get them out of here? I'm telling you, this is the most secure scissors I've ever seen. Once I had that bottom piece cut off, all you're gonna do is take the scissors and insert them between some of the weaving and begin carefully cutting your way all the way around the bottom. This is definitely a project where you'll need some gloves and some safety glasses because the little wicker pieces are very pokey and fly everywhere as well. But I did find that while this looks kind of difficult in the video, it really wasn't that hard. It just takes a little bit of some strength to cut your way through. As long as you have some sharp scissors though, you're going to be perfectly fine. Nice. That's good. I then continued to work my way around the opening that we now created in this basket, removing some of that extra weaving because I needed to make it the perfect size to fit around the light fixture that I am covering. And because these little tiny pieces sticking out like this were super dangerous trying to cut them because they're flying everywhere, I just decided to break them off, and that worked perfectly fine. Now I have some twine, and I was trying to do a lot of thinking about how to do this, and I'm thinking twine or like string, fishing line, maybe even more ideal, would be the best and easiest way to adhere this to the ceiling. So we are gonna have to install into the ceiling because I have textured ceilings in this apartment. If you had non-textured ceilings, you could probably get away with some of those little silver hook command hooks, but we're gonna have to install these tiny little hooks like this into the ceiling. These are gonna create such minimal damage that nobody's even gonna be able to tell they were up there. And then all you can really do if you're worried about it is put a little spackle in it right when you move out. It's like it never happened. So these will work, I promise. They are renter friendly enough. They're essentially like putting a small nail in the wall or a push pin. So as you can see here, I'm making 2 loops, one on each side of the basket using the twine, just something that can hang off of those hooks. And once that hot glue was nice and cooled down, it's time to hang up this awesome renter-friendly light fixture. Now don't click away just yet. We still have one more bonus project right at the end, but I am really happy with how all of these projects have turned out so far, and they look so good, and they're gonna be so easily removable when it's time to move out. I definitely think these are just awesome to try, and if you do, let me know. They could be customized to so many different ways, which I just think is really, really cool. Now before we get to this bonus project, head to the description box because there is a link for Craftsy, and the first 1,000 people who click on that will get their Craftsy premium membership for just $1.49 for an entire year, which is such a deal. And if you haven't already yet, make sure you hit subscribe and like this video. Okay, so this project is gonna be so quick and easy, but make such an impact. I'm really excited to show you this one. What you're going to need is a variety of little frames of different designs of your choice and some magnets. So first I'm attaching the magnets to the backs of these mini frames. You're gonna need at least 2 per frame, but if it's a little bit of a heavier frame, I would suggest going with 4. Now I bought this pack of 5 mini frames off of Amazon. I'll be sure to link them in the description box, but they were all just pretty generic and basic looking. So I really wanted to enhance them. So I'm using my favorite product, which is the antique wax, which really brings out the relief of the details in these frames. And I just love it because it pulls in that fun antique frame look that I just love. And I just hope it never goes out of style because I just think it is so classy and timeless. And if you didn't guess it yet, we are making fridge magnet frames. And I just love that these are a completely damage-free way to add a little extra charm to your apartment kitchen.